Through 3 games, who are your top 3 performers on our team? 301-230-0980, I did want to say something real quickly. Have you seen some of Jacob Young's catches the last couple of days for the Nats, including the catch he made last night against the Braves and the catch in which he basically, had a chance against the wall against the Mets. The ball fell out, but then he kicked it up with his foot and caught it on a second opportunity, hacky sack style. Have you seen those catches?
Yeah, dude, he finds a way every late September, early October to just turn into this defensive demon. It's very impressive. I like Jacob Young a lot.
Well, what he did with the foot, that is an athlete. That is what, there are different ways to describe athletes. Sometimes it's, size, speed, leaping ability, all that. But then there's the super coordinated athlete, the guy that may not be the fastest, may not be the quickest, may not jump the highest, but the hand-eye, the foot-eye coordination, that's an athlete right there with that description in terms of coordinated. Really impressive. Look, the Nats have had a horrendous season, although they did take 2 out of 3 against the Mets over the weekend to really kind of screw it up. The Mets are hanging by a thread in the wild card race. I think they're tied with Cincinnati. Let me just look this up, or it might be Arizona.
No, it's since I was looking last night. It's Cincinnati, and then they got
Cincinnati
somebody hot
for
on
the
their
last
tail.
wild card spot.
Yeah, and then hot on their tail is I got to switch the NL.
Arizona's a game back of the
yes,
2 of those teams.
Correct.
5 games left. 6 games left. They played 156, so they get 6 games left. Who do they play? The Reds or the Diamondbacks here at the end or not?
No, Nats,
Cubs and Marlins. They need to make the postseason after the season that they were having there for a while. What's kind of amazing about the Mets? At one point, they were leading the East. They're 12 games behind the Phillies. The Phillies have run away with the National League East. I love this time of year in baseball. I can't wait for the playoffs to begin. And you got heavyweights. You got the Dodgers, you got the Phillies. Hopefully, I actually want to see Juan Soto in the postseason. And then you've got, obviously the Yankees and potentially the Red Sox both in the postseason, although the Red Sox are being chased down by Cleveland and Houston for that last wild card spot. Cleveland's been rolling, or they were. I don't know what they did over the weekend.
The Brewers have been incredible, too, by the way.
They're a game back at Detroit in the American League Central. And Houston's 3 back of Seattle in the AL West. When's the last time Houston didn't make the postseason?
That's a great question.
Haven't they had basically like a 6 or 7 year, 8 year run of making the postseason? I'm sure there was a year in there. Maybe they didn't make it, but it seems like it. All right. 301-230-0980. 3 games in, who are your top 3 performers? So I'm going to give you my top 3. Then Max is going to give you his top 3. My number 1 performer through 3 games, Dorrance Armstrong. Dorrance Armstrong leads the NFL in both total pressures and pressure rate through 3 weeks. He has been an outstanding player through 3 weeks of this season. He has gotten after the quarterback. He, by the way, is incredibly versatile. He can line up inside. He can line up on the edge. He can drop into coverage. 92 has really, like the way he ended the season in the postseason last year. Dorrance Armstrong, for me, I did talk about him over the summer and thought there was a chance he could have a big year. Like if the defense was going to turn it around and be a better defense this year, I thought Dorrance Armstrong would have a lot of say in that. He leads the team in 3 sacks. He's got 3 sacks through 3 games. Again, total pressures, 18, number 1 in the NFL. Pressure rate, 25% through 3 weeks, number 1 in the NFL, according to the 33rd team in Sam Monson. We've had Sam on the show many times. Dorrance Armstrong, my number 1 performer through 3 games. Number 2, it's a tight call between 3 players. but I'm going to go number 2, Javon Kinlaw. I think the defensive front just is different than it was last year, and it's the reason that I am optimistic. Now, we got to see it against better offensive teams. The Raiders, bad offensive line. The Giants in week 1, bad offensive line. No Andrew Thomas in the opener. And then, the Packers kind of, I thought they did a decent job against the run against the Packers, but the bottom line is the Packers got what they wanted whenever they really needed it. So I need to see it against better teams like the Chargers in a few weeks to really believe in the, overhaul of the defense producing much better results. But I am optimistic because of Kinlaw in particular up front and the season Duran's having. But I think Javon Kinlaw has been a load to handle up front. That was a, somewhat surprising contract that he got in the moment, but it looks like Adam Peters knew what he was getting in Kinlaw, and I think he's made a major impact up front on this team. He's number 2. Number 3, and I'm leaving out my guy because I love Daron Payne, and I think Duran's had an exceptional start to the season. He was so good Sunday. Again, against a terrible offensive line, and really bad on Sunday. They were missing one of their best players. Actually, the player was active, just didn't play much. I'm going to go Debo at number 3. I think it's very obvious that they got a weapon that, as long as he stays healthy, is going to really pay off in a big way for this team when everybody else is healthy. Quarterback, offensive line, Cosme gets back. They figure out the right mix along the offensive line. Terry gets back to where he should be. I think Debo is, I've always been a massive Debo fan. I've always thought that he is an elite level weapon offensively when he's healthy. And we've seen that through 3 games. And on top of that, what a hell of a kickoff returner he is. So 1 is Armstrong, 2 is Kinlaw, 3 is Debo for me. Top 3 performers through the first 3 weeks of the season. That's my list. Max, what's your list?
So Armstrong and Kinlaw are on my list, but for the sake of highlighting other guys, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. So my first guy, I'm going to take Daron Payne. He's been very good through the last 3 weeks. He had a 90.6 grade this week against Las Vegas, 81.2 pass rush grade.
90.6 was his what? Ben mentioned this.
His PFF,
that's PFF,
yeah, his
right?
PFF grade against Las Vegas.
That's an outstanding grade.
Insane.
He looked the part. He looked the grade on Sunday. Now he did not, I would assume, I don't know what his PFF grade was against Green Bay. He did not have a good game against the Packers. No one really did. What was his PFF grade against the Packers?
I'm trying to find it's just a full grades page. I need to give the,
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I can't give it a game-by-game breakdown
3
unless I pay for PFF, which I won't be doing.
Okay.
But my number 2, Trey Amos. He's been really good. He's been the best corner kind of on this team, especially on the outside this past couple weeks. He has 9 total targets. That's tied for 10th in the NFL.
You said you had 2 out of the 3 that I had.
They were going to be on my list, but for the sake of being different,
Don't be different. You don't have to be different. I want to hear who you think the top 3 performers have been.
All right. Well,
Trey Amos the exact same list.
Trey Amos is on that list without a doubt because he has been CB1 on this team. He's got 2 pass breakups, tied for 11th in the league, a 58.1 passer rating when targeted, only given up 4 receptions for 41 yards through 3 games. Trey Amos has been a welcome addition to this DB's room. I like Trey a lot, and I think he's got a lot of room to grow. And then screw it, I'm going Dorrance Armstrong because he's been incredible. And I keep seeing him on all these charts, like in the the top right corner is always the good corner because that's where you always see Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, all of them. Right below them is Dorrance Armstrong. He's been having a really good year, especially through these last 3 games. I really like what he's been doing, man.
What's his best sack year? What was it in Dallas? I'm pulling it up right now. Did he ever have double-digit sacks?
I don't think so.
No, 8.5 in 2022, 7.5 in 2023.
I think he's on pace for like 17 sacks, but that's through 3 games, so we'll tap the brakes on it. But he's played great so far, man. Really good. I like it.
He had a forced fumble in that Detroit game. He had, in the playoffs, 3.5 sacks in 3 games. He had, how many TFLs did he have? He had 5 TFLs, tackles for loss. He played exceptionally well. After that Tampa and Detroit game, I remember coming in here saying, man, Armstrong has turned it on, over the last part of the season as well. He's a good player. They don't have a dominant pass rusher. They don't. They don't have a TJ Watt. They don't have a Myles Garrett. They don't have a Trey Hendrickson. They don't have a Micah Parsons. But Dorrance Armstrong is not easy to block. And when you have Kinlaw and Payne, along with the blitzing possibilities of Luvu and Wagner, they've schemed up some pass rush here in the first 3 weeks of the season. They have. It's encouraging.
Quick stat from Commanders PR. Dorrance Armstrong joins Matt Ioannidis and Preston Smith as the third player in franchise history to start the season with at least 1 sack in each of the first 3 games of the season.
Who were the other? Matt Ioannidis and who?
And Preston Smith.
So, let's see what Preston Smith has. He was not active for the game the other day. Maybe he's active on Sunday. It's encouraging that, again, you got to consider the 2 outstanding performances were against the Giants and against the Raiders. I know what the Giants did in week 2. Dallas is really bad on defense. But they also had Andrew Thomas, I think, in week 2. But beyond that, I want to see it against better quarterbacks, better offenses, etc. But the talent is better. Kinlaw is a big addition. They're going to miss Wise, no doubt. And Armstrong in year 2, we talked a lot about during the offseason. Year 2 in this system should be better than year 1 in this system. All, guys playing together for the first time. Dorrance Armstrong has been really, really good through the first 3 games. All right, you had Payne, Amos, Armstrong as your top 3 performers in that order through the first 3 games. My top 3 performer list through the first 3 games is Armstrong, Kinlaw, and Debo.